come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
I'm telling you straight. It's my way or the highway. So anybody wants to walk, do it now.
I'd like to kick his ass just once.
Bring out kiddies!
I'm your father, Luke. Give in to the dark side of the Force, you knob.
I think there's some kind of deviated prefix.
You're like a Kentucky Fried Idiot.
You are physically repulsive, intellectually retarded, vulgar, insensitive, selfish, stupid. You have no taste, a lousy sense of humor, and you smell.
Easy, real nice. If I didn't have puke breath, I'd kiss you.
Hi. Does that work? Yeah, there it goes. Hello. Hi. Woof. Okay, I'm here. Boy, am I. Ugh, this is a crazy, crazy days. Always before the Sexy Liberal show is crazy days. Because not only do I have my sketches to do and my stuff that I'm doing, but Steph and them come up with these bits and they start handing out assignments. I got into comedy so I didn't have to do homework. So, yeah, hi. So, welcome everybody. Hi. Yeah, we start late on Fridays, on Thursdays, in case it gets confusing for some people because of family-related FaceTime scheduled and the like. So, get used to that idea. So, yeah, she's spilling the beans on sketches. She can't not. I don't understand. Like, I don't want to tell her anything. It's why I hide all my stuff and don't deliver it till the last second, because she'll tell everybody on the show tomorrow. Crazy early voting in Illinois today. That's great. Go 60652. That sounds great. I'm very excited. And insofar as the hydration will go, I have very little tea left. This is I've been working nonstop, so my desk is covered in beverage containers so if I have to take a bathroom break, plasma, in the middle of this episode, you'll know why. Also, Facebook, what the hell is the matter with you? I have started many times with the Facebook on the thing, and somehow it remains to be stupid. Not just farting its way through and stuff. So there's something going on, can't link up to Facebook. Oh, perish the thought. So forgive me if we're troll free today. I know it's fun to bat them around. Renee James Center voted today. Good for you. Let's see. I wish they had a mason jar for the tip jar, which I remembered to empty this time, even though I was rushing around doing other stuff. Hi, hello, how are you? Whew. Yeah, just a day of, I'm just saying here. You guys want to? I'm not going to preview anything because it's just for the sexy liberals and the patrons. What can I show you that will give you some indication of what we're? This should. I mean, here's. These are not necessarily hints. I don't quite know even how the order of things comes in, but this a costume, this mask also works its way in, and this wig. That's all I'm showing you. That's just, as Jackie Chan would say, that's just for starters. So, it's a lot. Hi, 500 loops. Yeah. That is not Karen LaKaren's wig. No, it is not. That is, that's someone else. But I no comment on who's going to be in what show. I was going to wait on Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and I was just moved. The spirit moved me in the last Sexy Liberal to do a little message from her as Ruth Gordon. And it was kind of perfect and kind of this, it worked as a joke and as a serious statement. And in that, yesterday I was off ODog 520 because I'm shooting for Sexy Liberal and I had a delivery date. So I had this. My pieces are long anyways that I deliver, and this was a 9-minute thing I was editing together by myself. So under normal production schedules, you could maybe outsource even a teensy bit of what's going on in these things. But as it stands, I last night at 2:00 in the morning, I was making graphic overlays for a piece that I'm going to be shooting, or that I was shooting this morning. That I was, but before I went to bed, I was like, I gotta get it done. And I got about 5 hours sleep. And Trump Getting Booed is my favorite song. It's a feel good song of the season. Yeah, I know you do. Can't Stop Playing. I'm not on Facebook because the Restream is being a jerk. It's just not. Let me try something. Edit settings. Perhaps I can try this. Open up. I'll give it a shot. Now, there's lots of reasons to not be on Facebook. Not the least of which is Jeff Zuckerberg, who, fancies himself a man of the people, a billionaire man of the people, has been shepherding a psyop through our, let's see, where's the link? Okay, stream key, there we go. Has been, allowing a psyop to persist in our government for quite some time, quite frankly. And apparently, and as long as the checks clear, they don't seem to. Hold on. There we go. I think that went in. All right. Trying another thing. So, okay. I'm messing around with some settings on the YouTube thing right now, seeing if it changes because they update it sometimes. Save. Maybe this will work. We'll see. I'm trying a different stream key combo update of thingsages. Hey, look at that. It's sending data, it says, which means if it's sending data, I can go live. There we go. 3, 2, 1, something going on. And the thing is happening. Oh, yes. It seems to be happening. Is it happening? There we go. Yeah, I don't want that. I want the thing with the thing. There you go. Settings, comments. Now we said no, this is the thing. This is the annoying part about the annoying part about Facebook is that you have to put the protections against you can only build that wall every time you set up one. So I'm redeeming my posture. Okay, thank you. Thanks very much. Hey now. Thank you, Debbie. Amazing. Thanks, guys. Thank you for the subs. Oh, you guys. Lovely. Thank you, Nika Crinkles. And Fantastic. There we go. So yeah, we're live on Facebook now. Hi, everybody. It's happening. Good to see you. Sorry I wasn't on Facebook right away. There was a issue with the algorithms. And now it's saying, sorry, we're having trouble playing this video. But I hope you guys are seeing it. That's weird. We shall see what we shall see. It gets weird sometimes. Yay. Hey, Richard. You guys are just in like every chat room. It's a beautiful thing. Yay. Yeah, my Facebook notification came up. Excellent. Voila! Yes, we are. It is a full voila kind of a day. Am I the only person who, when they hear the voila thing, thinks of the scene in Everything You Want to Know About Sex But We're Afraid to Ask with Gene Wilder and the sheep? Voila! I'm just saying, it's weird. I know it's weird. It's weird. It is weird. But yeah, hi, Chandra, how are you?
Climb over each other's face. You can climb right over their face.
Yeah, just come on in.
Voila.
Voila. So, yeah, remember about masks.
Feel it, do them.
You feel it, do them.
Hard objects.
Yeah, or you can just use hard objects.
Hard objects. The federal.
The federal. Hi. Welcome, everyone. It's so good to see you guys, even virtually, in the midst of all this. Today, there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. I don't have time to cover all of it because of the very nature of my my workload on weeks like this. So I would stay in here all night with you guys with the rally, where he'll probably double down because of the attention he's getting on not supporting a peaceful transfer of power, all that kind of stuff. Which I have a theory about, and I'm curious. Chat room, let's hear it. Let's hear it. Yeah, let me, especially if there are any Yoseminites in the crowd or any Motang in the Motang crowd. Though it is, I think we're going to get kind of crucial with the Monday Motang being a rule.
Michigan gave us Motang.
I don't know. They don't seem to give Motang than other cities. I'm just saying. Yeah. But the there has to be. I have a theory about his sort of belief about. I'm not going to right now. I got to open up this one page. Hold on, and it might be noisy for a split second. I don't know. 3, 2, because it'll make a bunch of noise. 3, 4, you're gonna make a bunch of noise. Their feed really sucks. I don't know what it is. There. Pause that. He is today an orange sweaty mess, and he just started his rally in Florida. A state he is winning so easily, I don't even know why in the world he needs to. Why is he campaigning if he's winning so well? If the real polls show that he's got enthusiasm and he's way ahead, and there's all these bikers and boaters and wallpaperers and you know, chicken scratchers for Trump showing up all over the place, you know, they're
Michigan gave us Motang.
yeah, he's definitely down there, you know, battening down the hatches. And I have my own theories about that it's actually worse for him than that. Otherwise, he wouldn't even go. There are other places where they're within a 1% margin, and the 1% is, anytime you see 1% above or below, that's a 3% margin of error. That means your opponent could be beating you by 3 points, or you could be beating them by 3 points. That's a wide swing. And so whenever you see like a 1 or 2, whatever, it's a jump ball, no matter what anybody says. Unless you're outside the margin of error, which Biden is in a lot of areas, which is what's getting them panicked. Their internal polls have to be showing them that he is edging on or behind in the margin of error in Florida, or he wouldn't be down there as much as he is. Now, that said, he goes down there and hangs out because it's his adopted state now. Like every other old New Yorker, he's retiring down there. It won't last because they're going to try to move the business down there. They won't be able to incorporate. They'll get busted and they'll have to move it to the Cayman Islands. If, by the way, that's if the majority of the Trump family businesses aren't actually running out of the Caymans now, which they very well maybe. Average margin of error for all polls is about 3.5%. That's your rule of thumb. Sometimes they'll say a 2% margin of error because they have these recurring polls and they go to the same people, like Nielsen families almost, where they go, this person always gives me an honest answer. There's only some variance about it, you know, whether they say they're going to vote one way, that they go another way. That kind of thing. So there's a lot to this. Oh, the trolls are all ready. They're trying. You know, you can't blame them. You know what I mean? It's a buck. They're trying to make a living. Pretending to actually like Donald Trump and pretending to be a Christian at the same time must be exhausting. You know what I mean? Like, it must be overwhelming. He needs his bubble of sycophants after the boos from RBG. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the debate about whether or not he actually thinks they were booing her. I don't believe any poll after 2016. Interestingly enough, the poll on 2016 was right. And she won by 3 million votes. It was just the where that mattered. So, why am I getting... There you go. Something's just waking up. Are you offering a lottery for people to say... Yeah. The seniors in Florida are not all rich without independent income. They rely on Social Security. He wants to kill it. He's sending all seniors a $200 bank card, buying votes. Yeah, that's the attempt. That's why he wants his name on everything, you know, because for all the wagging about Obama phones, remember that stuff? Remember how freaked out they were about Obama was handing out free cell phones, which weren't free, and they weren't handing them out, and they were for low-income people who didn't have a cell phone, so you could get into the 20th century, and most people don't have a landline anymore, and it was to help cities stop having to pay for the landlines. Yeah, they still talk about Obama phones, but now he wants to hand out Trump prescription cards, and he wants to sign every stimulus check like it was his idea. All that stuff, like it's a joke. And again, super projection. By the way, really awkwardly orange today. Look at that. Look, I'm not tweaking this stuff, folks. I am not affecting the camera work at all. Look at his neck and where his face starts. That is amazing. Look at that. Hold on. I'm going to grab this real quick. Bring it over because I'm stuck in my little bubble. Yeah. Where'd you go? Hype train. Yeah, it's super weird. But like right along here. Look at that. Like neck, ear, one color, big splotch of orange. And it goes here. Like you could there's no up into they're not blending into the hairline. They're not blending into the neck. It's super orange. His lips are super orange. It's got that kind of crazy, Norma Desmond doing her lipstick. Mommy wants to see, where they got the crazy, the insane lipstick. Yeah. Somebody needs to get him a 3-part mirror. You're getting makeup done. You're being seen from all these sides. For Christ, it's embarrassing. He does use cheap foundation, and it does not match his skin. And occasionally they bullshit him into thinking that they're, using, oh, well, I've run out of the super orange. Can I just use this? And they're like, okay, but get more tomorrow. Yeah, this is his Halloween look. He looks like a jack-o'-lantern. It's weird, isn't it? He needs a new blending sponge. That's what my daughter says. He needs any blending sponge. I don't care if he uses toilet paper. Make it work. You can't fire his makeup artist. That's the point. It's his person. He chooses them because that's what he wants to look like. That's the weird part. It's super strange. All right, let's give this a roll. By the way, I don't know how much. And by the way, he signed an executive order on. Jesus, it's so orange. He signed an executive order on pre-existing conditions, which does precisely nothing. Nothing. You cannot force insurance companies to keep people on their insurance and not have lifetime caps and pre-existing conditions if you don't find a way to help them finance that, because you're putting an undue burden on a corporate structure. The federal government should not have the ability to say to any business, insurance should be different. We'll talk about that later. But the case law it would create is that the government can pretty much insist on any product from any company, which is insanity, right? It's for the dude who didn't want to do the Defense Production Act. This is nonstop Defense Production Act. This is goofy. So he signs this executive order that we're gonna protect pre-existing conditions. But by no means that is technically fascism. You are exactly right. There is no structure to actually do it. He brags about killing the individual mandate. He probably will do it in this. I have not seen any of this, but he will probably brag about getting rid of the Obamacare individual mandate like he always does, which was the necessary part to pay for lifetime caps and people with pre-existing conditions. That's what offset the whole thing and made it possible.
As the greatest medical professionals anywhere on earth. Today I will.
Whoa. That was a hard swallow. Yipes.
Lay out my vision for a healthcare system that puts patients first, families first, and perhaps most importantly for all of us, America first.
Where are doctors in this list? I just need to know because we're handing out raffle tickets. Puts patients first and America's first. Okay. So doctors are what? Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, good point, Eric. But they've been fighting the individual mandate in court.
Under the America First healthcare plan,
the America First healthcare plan
will ensure the highest standard of care anywhere in the world.
How?
Cutting edge treatment, state of the art medicine.
Space Force inoculations, super vitamins that you can take, either just stuff it in a hole and it'll start working. We're going to shove a light bulb up your ass and pour some disinfectant in your lungs. You're as good as cured, baby.
Cures and true health security for you and your loved ones.
Great. Okay, cool. So we know the preamble to this fantasy. What's the policy? Let's see.
And we will do it rapidly, and it's in very good order, and some of it has already been implemented.
Yeah, it's just, while we're bullshitting.
Short, we're delivering better care with more choice at a much lower cost and working to ensure Americans have access to the care they need. My plan expands affordable insurance options, reduces the cost of prescription drugs, will end surprise medical billing, increases fairness through price transparency.
Yes, HalSparks, they're using that since no tax collection, it invalidates the entire ACA. Yeah, it does. It keeps it from, it makes it so that they can't pay for it. So.
Streamline.
And they linked its funding specifically to that to keep funds from being brought from someplace else. It's something that they initially wanted to, they tried to use to kill Social Security, by the way, and they couldn't do it because the payroll tax did that.
Bureaucracy.
And what we're leaning towards is if it's legal to use payroll tax to pay for Social Security for health care when you're older, why should you have to wait till you're older legally to do this? That's age discrimination. So shouldn't you be able to up the payroll tax by a certain amount and universally pay for a version of the Affordable Care Act? That's the corner they're backing themselves into.
Accelerates innovation, strongly protects Medicare, and always protects patients with pre-existing conditions.
No, it doesn't. Just because he says it does. And by the way, he is so confused.
Thank you.
Thank you.
By contrast, the Democrat Party is pushing a socialist nightmare. Their plans will result in rationing.
You will get all your prescription drugs will only be available via rioting an Antifa member, according to the Biden-Harris health plan, will show up at your house, burn it down, and physically assault you with your prescriptions before challenging your privilege and stealing your hamburger.
Care, denying choice, putting Americans on wait lists, driving the best doctors out of medicine permanently, and delaying life-saving cures. Over 130 Democrats in Congress, including Senator Harris, have endorsed legislation to outlaw the private health plans of 180 million Americans.
No. That's, by the way, Biden-Harris is not doing that. They're looking for a single-payer option within the government, but not Medicare for all in that circumstance. And Biden specifically ran on not outlawing private insurance, and won because of it.
On top of it all, former Vice President Joe Biden promised to give free federal health care to anyone in the world who illegally crosses our border.
No, you can just get a COVID test and those kind of things if you have an infectious disease. They're just not going to check your immigration status when you come in sick. You don't get all the treatment. That's not how that works.
His plan to provide government health care to illegal immigrants would bankrupt our health care system, collapse our hospitals, and destroy Medicare, while bringing millions and millions of people lured into our country.
Lured into, that's the whole point. This is what they're selling. The whole purpose is we're going to give you free health care to lure in a bunch of Democratic voters that they're going to keep on welfare, and they're going to vote with the Democrats every single time. Of course, it's really just a Trojan horse to get MS-13 into the country, and George Soros wants us to be eaten from the inside. And so, really these poor people are being lured in just so they can be human shields for gang members with machetes. We'll get to that in a minute.
As long as I am president, we will safeguard our borders and our seniors. We are pleased to be joined today by...
Unless they live past 2023, in which case his getting rid of the payroll tax would bankrupt Social Security.
Secretary of Health and Human Services, done a great job, Alex Azar. Alex, hi, Alex.
Hi, Alex. Where is he? Alex Azar is an asshole, and if he really thought highly of him, he would have kept him in charge of the task force. Alex Azar was the first person put in charge of the COVID task force in January. He did such a shit job, Trump put Pence in charge. Mostly because he heard that Obama put Biden in charge of stuff, and people liked what Biden did, so he's trying to show off.
And very importantly, CMS Administrator Seema Verma. Thank you, Seema. A great friend of mine and a great friend of healthcare, frankly, Senator Bill Cassidy. Bill.
Hi, Bill. It's Trump romper room.
Representatives Michael Burgess and Greg Murphy, so instrumental. Thank you, fellas. And many, many state and local officials are here with us. Thank you very much. Since the plague arrived from China...
Jesus Christ. It's like he can't mention healthcare without blaming China for the plague, in the same way that he can't bring up black people without talking about criminal justice reform, because that's the only process. It's like the bottleneck his brain goes through.
We have seen our doctors, nurses, first responders, scientists, and researchers at their very best. We slashed red tape to accelerate the development of life-saving treatments, reducing...
No, the life-saving treatments that have actually worked were vetted by other countries. Do you hear me? Do you hear me? The ones that everybody's bragging about, the ones that actually work, not hydroxychloroquine, which didn't. And every other country's like, what the hell are you giving that to people for? It'll give them heart palpitations. Before people go on a trip and they get the malaria drug to keep them from catching it, they go, hey, do you have heart problems? Because if you do, you probably shouldn't take this, because it could give you an arrhythmia and kill you. But in the process, most of the people who are dying from COVID have heart problems, So why would you treat them with the drug for extreme cases if the only thing that affects their extreme case is the fact that they're same thing the drug would kill them for? It's stupid. Dexamethasone and beta interferon both came out of the UK, out of the National Health Service of England, which is a single payer, publicly funded, government-run healthcare system. Same with South Korea. South Korea is the one who figured out remdesivir.
The fatality rate
We didn't figure out any of this shit. We nodded and started using it.
by 85% since April.
Thank you.
Incredible. Overall, Europe has seen an almost 50% greater excess mortality rate than that of the United States.
In a non-pandemic year, they use the standard by here's American deaths, here's European deaths. They've seen a 50% rise versus the United States in a non-pandemic year, using stats, by the way, from April and May when everybody was inside and nobody was getting run over by cars or shot. They've been using the exact same statistic for 5 months.
And despite Europe's punishing lockdowns, they are now seeing a huge surge, very sadly, in cases.
When they reopen.
Under Operation Warp Speed, my
I'm sorry. My bad.
administration is
Captain's log.
developing a vaccine in record time. It will be distributed before the end of the year and maybe quite a bit sooner than that.
Just make it up. Just pretend.
Four
By the way, by the end of the year and quite a bit sooner than that, it's September. My birthday is tomorrow. We're at the end of the month.
vaccines are now in the final stage of clinical trials.
Because we skipped 2 of the phases.
It's just about at the end, and a lot of things are looking very good. It is the most
Yeah. Things look great if you cover one eye.
ambitious vaccine
My God, this place looks like ginormous.
program in U.S. history, probably in any history.
What? Hold on. What? Probably in any history? Sentences, please.
The most ambitious vaccine program in U.S. history, probably in any history. The vaccines are being mass produced.
First of all, the most ambitious search for a vaccine in any history, excuse me, AIDS, for one. 30 years of people seeking that one. Secondly, does Jonas Salk just get kicked off the bus now? Do we just pretend that they weren't fighting to cure polio as children were being crippled? What are you talking about? Any history?
in advance.
Christ, we've almost eradicated tuberculosis in the in the advanced world, in the first world especially.
So
they called that the white plague because of the gunk that came out of your mouth before you started bleeding.
Within 24 hours of approval. The vaccine will be safe and it will be effective.
And we are going to test it all on MAGA supporters. Anybody with a red MAGA hat gets a free shot in the ass at any Walmart parking lot they want to show up in. All you got to do is just show up, and even if the trucks aren't there yet, get there early like it's a rally, and just drop trow, bend over, grab your ankles, and scream MAGA so they know you're ready. And one of Trump's military trucks will roll up, and they'll just dart you right in the ass. And then you can scream America and black out.
It will defeat the virus and it will end the pandemic. The economy.
All right. It'll defeat the virus and it will end the pandemic. Immediately, just because they have it? We're just going to pretend that everybody who needs a dose can get a dose right away, and therefore it's over.
The economy will surge to record highs. You see what's happening with the numbers that are coming out, records all.
Yeah. If you measure from your butthole, your penis is a lot longer. This is what he's doing. He's honestly. How stupid. We created 9 million jobs. Why? Because 22 million people lost their jobs and 9 million of them went back. Oh, you mean you lost 12 million jobs? Jesus.
Normal life will fully resume. That will be great. And next year will.
It'll be great. Normal life. What do you know about normal life?
One of the greatest years in the history of our country from an economic and hopefully in many other ways.
Like what? Economic, weather? No, not definitely not that. What other ways could it possibly be awesome? Oh, you won't be there. You'll be in the Cayman Islands.
When I was elected, I inherited a thing called Obamacare. Has anybody heard of Obamacare?
Yes, the Affordable Care Act. It's been incredibly effective. 24 million people have insurance that didn't have it, and tons of people with things like spina bifida and genetic disorders have had the lifetime caps removed, so bankruptcies went down, medical bankruptcies. Yeah, we've heard about it. Billy, thank you.
It was terrible. That's the way I feel too. It was terrible and very, very expensive. Hurt a lot.
Yeah, tell us all about it. What were the details? I've read it. Have you?
A lot of people. Premiums were too high. Deductibles were a disaster. Patients had no choice. You couldn't keep your
You have a lot of choices.
doctor.
You couldn't keep your doctor if they were a shyster who were part of a medical plan that wouldn't cover an ambulance ride that could cost you $30,000. Can we knock off this whole Obama said you could keep your doctor and you couldn't keep your doctor stuff that they keep flipping out about? If you had one of those plans and your doctor was on that plan, by the way, they could move to one of the other plans if they were a decent doctor. If they wanted to go where the actual funding was and they weren't some like right-wing nutcase who were just doing it for spite, they would make themselves available to get paid through the insurance that was available to them. But if they stayed on insurance plans locked in there because they were getting kickbacks from the insurance companies for being on these low-end policies that don't cover shit, that gives all these insurance companies free foreclosed houses.
But by far the worst part
Garbage.
of Obamacare was this thing called the individual mandate.
What I say. The individual mandate is so that everyone has insurance. It's the application towards health insurance that we do with car insurance. So that when you're driving on the road, you know that the odds are that the other cars on the street are carrying insurance, and if they rear end you or somebody crisscrosses and smashes into you, you're not going to be left with a totaled car, no job injuries you can't pay for. They have insurance that will cover it, and everybody had to have it, and it's been a normal thing. The individual mandate was put in because one of the biggest drivers of costs, of inflation of Medicare, of medical costs, hospital stays, why you have $500 aspirins and bullshit like that, is because of all the people who don't have insurance, who default on their medical payments, or just disappear. That's why. If everybody has insurance and they're paying in it, then the insurance pays for what they're doing so they don't skip out on their bill or declare bankruptcy. And therefore, everyone's costs go down. But the costs have continued to go up lately. Why? Because they took away the individual mandate and have undermined the cost structure for the entire thing. And now, when you go to the hospital, if you need an aspirin or an antacid or oxygen or a lactated ringer with saline solution in it, you're not paying for that thing. You're paying for the 15 other people who didn't pay for their shit. Now, there was another solution that I floated around the time of the ACA. Some of you may remember that these folks who didn't want to do the individual mandate and didn't want to be forced to buy government health care, even though if they were in a car accident, they would beg for services, it's a very simple solution, that if you were against the individual mandate, you could get out of it, but you had to wear a medallion at all times that said, do not resuscitate, and if I am discovered to have a disease that I cannot afford to the cure for, with my cash on hand and whatever the value of my assets are, don't treat me. Where were all the right-wingers who were like, for America, we don't need no individual mandate, we're individual people or whatever? Well, fine. Don't use the hospital if you can't afford it then. You're driving the costs up for everyone else, right? So the American thing to do would be to, get a tattoo that just said, I don't have insurance. If I end up in the hospital, just put me in the dumpster. Would any of them be brave enough to do that? No, of course not. They expect the greatest care in the world and they don't want to pay for it. They expect someone else to pay for it, and that's why the cost goes up. That's why the individual mandate.
As part of our largest ever tax cut in the history of the United States, we put in a provision to kill this worst provision of Obamacare, the individual mandate.
So how are you going to pay for people with pre-existing conditions to have insurance?
It was a disaster, and it was really the essence of Obamacare. It made you pay a tremendous amount of money in order to not have to pay for health insurance. Think of that. You had to pay a fortune in order not to have health insurance.
Yeah, because the state would provide a version of health insurance and would pay back hospitals and pharmacies and doctors and specialists and physical therapists and suppliers and makers of insulin and saline solution and EpiPens and all that kind of shit out of the taxes from it because you wouldn't pay for insurance.
It was really terrible and so unfair to so many.
You don't even know what the shit you're talking about. You're rich.
Families. We were able to terminate the individual mandate, but kept the provision protecting patients with pre-existing conditions. It would not have been, that particular law would never have been signed if it were otherwise. Obamacare is no...
What? Oh, you mean the tax break wouldn't have killing the mandate while leaving the... How are you paying for it? Basically, you can't force them to do it. They're going to fight it in court. There's no way to financially do it. All the insurance companies will go bankrupt unless they have a source of funding to cover this. The same thing you would do with taxes. You want to do with insurance companies, in this case, what you want to do with Democrat-run cities. Let the fiscal hole murder them. This dude has no idea. Like, this is what happens when you elect fake billionaires.
Longer Obamacare. As we worked on it and managed it very well, we stabilized it and got...
You didn't do shit. You've been chopping it down ever since. It's just well constructed.
Premiums down very substantially. That was Alex and that was Seema, and you did a fantastic job.
It's in the law.
But it's still...
Like, he only thinks that because he wouldn't even, like, the idea that he would even know what the law contains is absurd.
Unacceptable to me because it's too expensive and doesn't really do the job as well as we could have.
Oh, yeah? Well, let's hear it. What's your America First healthcare plan?
So what we have now is a much better plan. It is no longer Obamacare because we've gotten rid of the worst part of it, the individual mandate, and made it much less expensive. A lot of that was through good management. We manage it properly. We have...
Oh, so he's just going to take over the ACA? Is that the idea now? And that by the time the bill comes due, to fund the parts of it that the individual mandate covered, you'll be long gone?
Tremendous people working on it.
He's just going to take credit for all the stuff that's in the ACA except for the individual mandate. That's what it is. There it is.
Simultaneously with all
Simultaneously.
this, we are joining in a lawsuit to end this ill-conceived plan.
We ran it great, and parts of it are, we want whatever, but we're trying to get rid of it.
I'm in court to terminate this really, really terrible situation. If we win, we will have a better and less expensive plan that...
You won't have any plan. If you win, you have no plan. There is a plan. It's called the Affordable Care Act. If it goes away, there is no plan. None. It goes back to the status quo before the Affordable Care Act. They have not implemented a bill. They have not passed a bill. They have not created a structure that's lasting. Any of you, whether you're a Republican or Democrat, do you want your health care to ride on any individual president's executive orders? Ask DACA how that feels.
Always protect individuals with pre-existing conditions.
No, you won't. No, you won't.
If we lose, what we have now is better than the original version of
the original
Obamacare by far, much better.
How? What's the difference? It is the Affordable Care Act.
Much
minus funding.
Better. Again, we will always protect patients with pre-existing conditions.
You keep saying that, but how? With what?
So today I'm laying out my vision for the future.
The vision. Oh, okay, there we go. This is the Green New Deal of Trump's plan. It is a completely non-binding vision of we're gonna do it so much better. It's gonna be the greatest, and yet so much quicker and faster and very good, and also taller and wider, but also thicker and thinner at the same time.
Of American healthcare with the America First healthcare plan.
Great, let's hear it. The America is, and by the way, do we have paperwork on this? Can I look this shit up right now? While we're, is there a ride-along document that I can grab? Let's see. America First Health Care Plan. It's great to be back in North Carolina. Trump unveils his video, America First Health Care Plan, executive order on. Okay, it's an. This is it. It's an executive order. Executive order on not an America First healthcare plan. So somebody owns the America First healthcare plan and they didn't get the right. By the authority vested in me as president by the Constitution of Louisiana, Section 1 purpose. Since January 20th, my administration has been committed to the goal of bringing great health care to the American people and putting patients first. Yeah. What is that commitment based on? What's that based on? How are we supposed to? No, you're not. You take credit for the VA choice. You're trying to scuttle the Affordable Care Act. Monumental steps to improve the efficiency and quality of health care in the United States. No, you haven't. During choice, signing law, the repeal of the burdensome individual mandate patent, liberating millions of low-income Americans from a tax that would penalize them for not purchasing health insurance. Okay, low-income people had an out, and they got a tax credit. That's bullshit. Unless by low-income people, he means people making $400,000 to $500,000 a year. My administration has expanded coverage jobs for millions. My administration increased the availability of renewable short-term limited duration healthcare plans. Yeah, the kinds that don't actually serve you for shit and have been providing options that are up to 60% cheaper than the least expensive alternatives because they don't cover shit. And are projected to cover 500,000 individuals who would otherwise be uninsured. This is something you already did. What do you mean projected? All right, he's going to talk about this. He's probably going to read from this document.
As we restore America to full strength, the first healthcare plan will be a core part of our national renewal.
No, the America First healthcare plan.
In a few moments,
Listen.
America to full strength, the first healthcare plan will be
the America First healthcare plan. It's the name of your plan, jackhole. Say it right.
A core part of our national renewal.
Renewal.
In a few moments, I'll sign an executive order outlining the 3 pillars of my plan.
Oh, the 3 pillars.
Directing my administration to implement these critical reforms. The first pillar of my plan is more choice for the American patients. Very important.
That's not a pillar. That's an aspiration. The pillar is, okay, fuck's sake. Pillars hold up the structure of the building you are in. They are not the skylight. They are the things that hold it up, that actually do it. So more choice is what you want. The pillar would be the thing that actually makes more choice possible. You get me? Yeah, more choice. Unless it's a woman choosing what to do with her body, and then boo, choice.
The last administration severely restricted consumer choice through the greatest healthcare lie ever told. If you like your plan, you can keep your plan. If you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor.
Yeah, I remember that, and I already explained that. If your doctor was an asshole and was part of an insurance group because he got kickbacks for being, or she got kickbacks for being under that insurer because they had all this extra money, because they stiffed people for basic medical care, especially the ambulance ride and the hospital stay itself. They jacked those payments up like crazy and forced people into bankruptcy, and your doctor stayed on that? Screw them. The statement could have been, if you want to keep your doctor and your doctor is a decent human being, you can keep your doctor.
Remember that? 28 times that was stated by our president, but it turned out not to be true. When I took office, more than 50% of counties nationwide offered plans from only a single insurance company on the individual market. Starting next month, more than 90% of the counties will have multiple options to choose from, which is really...
Yeah. You just expanded it to ones that suck. Basically, you're just letting people have like catastrophic health insurance, but if they get, if they're injured and they have to go to the hospital, they're going to lose their house. Like, because they're thinking like, well, I want like 4th stage pancreatic cancer kind of insurance, but if I get, if I get injured at work and falling off of something, if I survive, I'll just sue somebody.
Some difference.
He's very impressed, but by the applause that the people sitting there, Azar and the others, told him would be very popular with the people he's actually reading to.
Under our plan, you'll have the freedom to shop for the option that is right for you and your family. These options include new affordable choices that cost up to 60% less than Obamacare. Think of that, 60% less.
And provide 80% less services.
For example, we're opening up short-term plans that are much cheaper than Obamacare and that can be customized to your individual needs.
So if you're going skiing, you can add broken legs. But if you don't ski all the time and you just get a broken leg because somebody runs a red light, it's not covered. You don't need that.
Also offering association health plans that allow small businesses to pool together and offer more affordable policies to their employees. These are tremendous options.
That was in the original version of the ACA.
That didn't exist before we came into office. And through a massive expansion of health reimbursement arrangements, millions of Americans will be able to shop for a plan of their choice on the individual market and then have their employer cover the full cost. Furthermore, I'll work to make individual health care
This is in the ACA.
premiums fully tax deductible. That will be a big difference.
No, it won't. No, it won't. That's not a big difference. Unless you're just making everyone's health care costs tax deductible universally for all, for basically rich people to write off whatever Cadillac plans they want. There you go. Is this like car rental insurance? We can pick what we need coverage for? Yeah, except you always have your body 24/7, and you can't gun your body, throw it in reverse just to see what happens, and leave the keys on the dresser or the desk. First of all, he's bored. He doesn't understand this part at all.
Through these and other reforms, we're putting American patients back in charge, and we're putting them first. My plan will also revolutionize access to telehealth.
Oh my God. Telehealth's been around forever. Private insurers have been using it for ages. This just came out of the pandemic because doctors, especially older ones, don't want to catch a disease that'll kill them specifically while treating their younger patients who may not be as affected as hard.
That's something that really has taken off
Yeah, since we can't go outside.
during the pandemic.
Yeah, telehealth's really killing it. Yeah, it's who would have thought Netflix would be so valuable in a lockdown?
It's taken off like a rocket ship.
Like a rocket ship. Yeah, more like a space ark full of people who are leaving a dying planet. Yeah, telehealth's been around for a decade and a half. And watch these assholes take a ton of credit for stuff that, honest to God, take credit for stuff that is simply a matter of technology growing. That, like, FaceTime and iPads are more reliable by a factor of 10 this year than they were 5 years ago.
Increased close to 9,000%. Nobody was using it, and when we had
Nobody was using it because they could go see their doctor.
the pandemic, they started using it. Then
It's weird. Yeah, isn't it funny?
they started really liking it. Then it started getting better and better.
First of all, anytime you go get one of those hydration, intravenous treatments that they give you, here in Vegas, they have them. You can go to the mall and some places and do it. You do telehealth to do that because it's a nurse practitioner in the room, but you actually have to talk to a medical professional to run you down the checklist and see if you're okay. The person who's done it has not gone to medical school, but they can check in with one, and then they can operate. They've been trained as a technician, like a home health care person. It's not a full-on nurse sometimes, but they have the ability to do things as long as they've been given permission, they've been instructed on how to do it. This is just goofy.
Bill, now it's up to 9,000%. Who would think that, right?
We would. We're in the middle of a pandemic lockdown. Of course, people would use it 9,000%. And what's the percentage rise based on what there was? If it's up 9,000% and there's 340 million people in the country and 120 million of them are suddenly using it, that means 20 million people used it previously.
Of the few things that we got from this disaster that came from China.
Yeah, thanks, China, for all the electronics that we use for telehealth. What?
When we rapidly expanded its availability for Medicare beneficiaries during the pandemic, the number of telehealth users increased so incredibly to 14,000 a week. It was 1.7 million. It was increasing at levels that nobody's ever seen before in just about any kind of a program. This is
Yeah, because it was a necessity because of a contagious disease. Jesus Christ. This asshole would roll down a hill, and when he got to the bottom bleeding would go, "I invented the wheel."
the future of healthcare. We will ensure all Americans have the freedom to consult with doctors from the safety and convenience of their homes.
We already have that.
The second pillar of my plan is lower costs for families and seniors. Lower cost.
Okay, so that's a pillar. Again, no. This is aspirational. How you make it happen is the other pillar. Yeah, applaud cheap stuff, cheaper.
For years, patients have been shocked to receive unexpected bills for thousands of dollars in medical services they never agreed to.
Yeah, they were unconscious at the time. What do you mean they never agreed to? Oh, maybe you mean your DHS or the hysterectomies? Maybe that? You mean like that kind of stuff? Probably not.
First America First healthcare plan bans this.
He keeps calling it the first American healthcare plan because he thinks it's the first American healthcare plan ever. And it's the America First healthcare plan, and he can't get it out.
Deeply unfair practice.
By the way, tell me again how Biden saying Harris Biden is the big thing, but this dude has reversed his own plan's name 4 times.
We will end surprise medical billing. The days of ripping off American patients are over. My plan also includes the vital reform of price transparency.
It's an executive order, didn't pass Congress, wouldn't pass Congress. Why? Because Mitch McConnell would stop it. These are elements, by the way, a couple of these things are elements that were in the original Affordable Care Act that were removed in committee at the objection of Republicans. And by the way, he's just doing executive orders because they don't have to last. He can just bullshit you on all this for 90 days. And when it falls apart, it's too late and he can't run again.
And price transparency is great for the great doctors, the good doctors, and it's also great for the great and good hospitals. That's where it's
How is it for the medium to fair, the fair to middling hospitals?
Fantastic for them too, in addition, obviously, to the patients. For the first time ever, we will create true competition in healthcare. Both hospitals and insurance companies will be required to post all of their prices online. This transformative policy will allow you to see your exact out-of-pocket costs before you go for treatment.
Yeah, that'll be great. So people just go, like, let me Yelp the hospital, you know, and see if I, you know what, it's just cheaper to die, I think, at this point.
It easy to shop for the best price. Costs will come way down. Some people think this will have a bigger impact than healthcare itself. It's a tremendous thing, no matter what.
Yeah, this was interesting when Rachel Maddow was doing stories about it 5 years ago.
Where it's been put, it's been an incredible service, and it's worked miracles. It's been brilliant for patients. Next time, taking on the lobbyists and the special interests to lower the price of prescription drugs. For years, American patients have subsidized.
Yeah, applaud this bullshit, which is his. I'm going to form a committee that will find out why other countries pay a lot less for pills than we do. I can save you a bunch of money. I can save the taxpayers a lot of money. What you're going to find out is that these countries have national health services that buy in bulk. You're going to go look at Germany, you're going to go look at Sweden and Finland and Netherlands, and you're going to go look at the UK, and you're going to go look at Canada, and what you're going to find, did I say Germany already? Yeah, Germany, France to some degree, and what you're going to find is it's legal. They can buy in bulk. The pharmaceutical companies sell to them enormous amounts. That's it.
Socialist nations.
What did he say about socialist nations, excuse me? That we're going to pay...
American patients have subsidized socialist nations.
No, we haven't. They buy in bulk, and you're suggesting doing the exact same thing.
And you know that. We talk about it all the time. Congress, they come over. We've been talking about it for a long time. They've been talking about it for years. They know the problem, but we've been subsidizing socialist nations and others by paying the highest drug prices in the world by far, and yet we're the largest purchaser of prescription drugs by far.
Yeah, which wouldn't point to a generalized health. That's actually bad. That's bad. Our life outcomes are not higher than every other country, especially the countries you're talking about. We don't live longer than they do, or more healthfully. We don't have, you know, our good years don't extend as far as theirs do. So, and we spend all of our money on this. This is like using facelifts as a marker for a good economy. Look at all the facelifts people are getting. Like, no, that's actually a sign that that the public has a disjointed view of their physical person, and that doesn't point to a healthy society.
This is all while countries got away with paying so much less, incredibly less. Under my plan, we will pay the exact same price as other countries. That's at the lowest level. So we will be matching the lowest price with what's now many times the highest price, and we won't pay a penny more. What will happen is the lower prices will come up a little bit, but you'll get discounts of 40, 50, 60, 80, 90, who knows, percent. Numbers that you wouldn't even believe.
Yeah, I don't believe them. Because you're talking out of your ass, because you have to convince Republicans to pass a bill that allows for this. That's why this is just a mission statement executive order. It doesn't actually implement anything. This is the medical equivalent of declaring something National Donut Day.
And we were the only ones in 52 years to bring drug prices down. The last year they went down, as you know.
Yeah, because of drugs that were created 30 years ago that finally went generic. This bullshit. Like, there are because the law about that drug companies can't trademark or patent a drug permanently forever, that like music and everything else, it becomes public domain at a certain point, and you can provide generic equivalents of it. Every president from basically Bush, during his first term, can argue that they've, oh yeah, drug prices went down on a bunch of really crucial drugs. Well, yeah, because they aged out.
But that was before this. They went down just a little bit, but just a little bit was the only time in 52 years. Now they're going to go down massively. Favored nations. This will lead to a very large savings for...
Yeah, totally. You guys all believe this, right? Yeah, you're all completely comfortable with the fact that his commission is going to find that they use Medicare, their equivalents of Medicare, Medicaid, and their own, what would be a single-payer system, like the one Biden is advocating for and intends to pass as an extension of the ACA, which, by the way, shouldn't it be an option for you? If you believe in, you want more choice, these guys are going on about choice, a public option would be a choice. And I'll go you one better than just a single federal one. I think states should be able to offer insurance pools for healthcare costs, and all the profits from them go to build and help the state function. And that way, if you don't like the federal system for a single payer system, it isn't really, and it's the only game in town like Medicare for All would be, you're kind of screwed if it doesn't work. But if Washington State has a plan, and California has a plan, and Massachusetts has a plan, and Illinois has a plan, and you can buy into the best state, you can check against, like Washington State covers everything. They're really efficient. They don't take a lot of profits into the state. It's really highly functional. You can move. You can choose. You think they're going to argue for this here? No.
For American families and plummeting drug prices, they will plummet. The Obama-Biden administration caved to Big Pharma and allowed drug prices to explode. The only bad part about this transaction is that they are advertising like crazy. Make sure you don't elect Trump. And all it means...
Have you seen any of these ads? Seriously. Honestly. Yeah, he's reading from his teleprompter. Have we seen a bunch of we're Big Pharma and we approve this message? Where are these ads happening? Are they just all over Sinclair Broadcasting? And by the way, they're not worried about this. The pharmaceutical companies aren't worried about this because they know when you look what you'll find, and they know how Republicans will react to that finding, and that they will do nothing.
Is that your drug prices are coming down. So it's incredible. They have unlimited money.
By the way, thanks for subscribing, guys, and thanks for joining me today. HalSparks.live is where you can watch the Twitch feed if you're not all Twitch savvy, but twitch.tv/HalSparks is the best way to go or whatever. Please think about becoming a patron. You can now become an annual patron where you just do it all in one fell swoop, so you don't have to worry about it every month. If you can't do any of those things, if you can't afford to support the show through bits and donations and those kind of things, totally cool. Just watch the show, relax. We'll get through this. We're good for what ails you.
For ads, but
this is my healthcare plan. Laughter is a good medicine and a nice little poke of righteous indignation. Thank you, Christina. Holy smokes.
Taking ads, and every time you see an ad, just think that your drug prices are coming down. I now understand why other politicians wouldn't do it, because it was a very easy thing to do. But it took a certain amount of courage, I will say that.
If I do say so, I'm very courageous. You guys have no idea how... Oh, you support on Facebook too? Thank you, Shelly. Appreciate that. Nice. Oh yeah, I see that. There's a badge there now. I have not seen any of that stuff. I know the least about that part, so I'm gonna have to do it after Sexy Liberal 4. I'll do a deep dive. But thank you. It's please applaud, please clap for how courageous I am.
So it means that I'm taking on Big Pharma like never before. Nobody's done this before. They understood favored nations. Favored nations is you get the best price as the lowest, no matter where it is, anywhere in the world. So if Germany's paying 10 cents for a bill and we're paying $2.50 for the same exact pill from the same place, same plant, same genius scientists, same everything, same laboratory.
In Pakistan, where you got all the hydroxychloroquine?
We get the same price as they do.
I thought we were going to make our own.
You're talking about numbers that are unthinkable.
Yeah, because they're fantasy.
Favored nations clause.
Yeah, fine. Sign on to Joe Biden's plan for a single-payer health program That single payer will act as a buyer for the largest, most functional, necessary drugs for everyone: insulin, low-dose aspirin, statins, diabetes medications, metformin and others, and they'll buy it in bulk, and you'll get it really cheap. And some of the other ones will be, more expensive because they're rarer in use, like they are in other countries. But then you have, you're able, because of you have more money in your system, to compensated by lowering those drug prices to pay and help people who need these more extreme drugs. By the way, we love Jack Klugman. Go watch Quincy, the show Quincy. There would not be drugs for dozens of lesser-known diseases if it was not for Jack Klugman. And Jack Klugman and the show Quincy is one of the big reasons why hospitals have rape kits in them. That TV show is the reason. Jack Klugman, bless his heart, did special episodes about the fact that hospitals and police departments were not prepared to deal with rape victims and to collect the physical evidence necessary. And he did a 2-part episode on it. It was just brutal, by the way. They had to put a warning on it before the show aired way back in the 80s. And because of that, we started having, that was standard fare, that rape kits were starting to would be available in hospitals, and that first responders and EMTs would have them.
So it's really something, and they're attacking me viciously. We know that. And
no, they're not. You're making this up. They know this is bullshit. They don't care.
They're attacking me really because I'm fighting for you, but it's worth the fight. It's worth the fight. I think people are going to understand.
It's worth the fight. It's election year bullshit, and it won't actually pan out.
And I can say this, I think. I don't think it's confidential. Our chief of staff is here, Mark Meadows, from a very great state known as North Carolina.
Yeah, he's there. He's in North Carolina. They need to win this, so they're pushing for this here. We announced our first American first plan of health before in Carolina, the northern one of the America First thing.
It happens
How is this asshole not able to say America First properly on his own healthcare
to
plan?
come from North Carolina. That's good stuff. He wanted to be here for that reason, probably more than even listening to this. Because
Yeah, Derwin, absolutely. Jack Klugman being on Quincy was the medical equivalent of Mariska Hargitay on SVU doing stuff for rape and sexual assault victims. She's done amazing work working with advocacy groups. Quincy, that show, Jack Klugman specifically made it their cause celeb to deal with things. They had a thing called the Orphan Disease Bill, and Orrin Hatch was running against it. Was holding it up in committee, and it dealt with diseases like Tourette's and other lesser-known diseases. And Jack Klugman went into his office alone, and when he came out, Orrin Hatch was a co-sponsor.
you've heard it, but Mark will tell you that Big Pharma is calling and negotiating, and they want to make a deal. And there's a deal somewhere, but it's something that's taking place.
Yeah, there's a deal. What, Trump Tower, Dubai?
Right now, so they're negotiating, but
Yeah, they're going to buy Trump facilities. They're going to move their offices into one of his buildings.
this is where we are, and they're negotiating for one reason. Before that, they wouldn't even think about negotiating with any other administration.
No, they did. There's elements of the ACA which were exactly that.
They cannot believe this is actually happening.
They know it isn't.
And if we can make a deal, we will. But Mark, you're negotiating literally as we speak, right?
I thought you were the big negotiator. Why is Mark Meadows doing it?
So if he doesn't make a great deal, we'll blame North Carolina, okay? So
What a weird thing to say.
that's great. Now, Mark is a
I mean, honestly, can he not be an asshole at least once?
real pro at this.
This is like him going to that pizza place and going, "We'll let you know if it sucks in a half an hour."
Understands it. Complicated business, but he understands it very well. Today, my administration.
Yeah, I am a bit of a trivia savant. It's why I did I Love the 80s. I mean, that's why they brought me in, because, all that was improv from memory.
Taking action on every piece of
And the 70s and the 90s and holidays and toys and some other.
the executive order I signed on prescription drug importation in July The American people pay an average of over, listen to this, 3 times
Listen to this.
more for medicine than Canadians.
Yeah. Gee, what do Canadians have that Americans don't have?
So you could be 2 feet away on each side of the border, 3 times more. And
Uh-huh.
that's the way it is. Canada is far more than many other countries. My plan will allow states, wholesalers, and pharmacies to do something
Jesus,
career
this is
politicians have promised for decades because it was very simple as an idea, but never delivered. We will finally allow the safe and legal importation of prescription drugs from Canada. So this means...
Yeah, this means you hate the Canadian system, but you want to fillet it.
So this means a state or whatever can go to Canada and buy your drugs for a fraction of the price that they're charging right now. Massive numbers of, tremendous numbers. Florida wants to do it, Colorado wants to do it, many states want to do it, and they will be doing it, but that's still higher than the favored nations. So as favored nations kicks in, I think that
Get this across Mitch's desk. By the way, this is still a pillar that's aspirational that they're hoping to do after they do a series of commissions to study whether or not it's feasible or possible.
probably beats everybody, no matter where you are, no matter where you're trying to
Yeah, nothing beats Canada. Donald John Trump.
buy. This will be a game changer for American seniors, and by allowing you to do this through Canada, we're doing it
Funny, I never thought of it as a game.
very, very quickly, so it goes very fast. And the new rule goes into effect as of today. Is that fast enough? I think so. What do you think? Congressman.
Why'd you wait till now? If this was easy and you could do it and you just had to sign it and you just had to say yes, why? And by the way, the rule, quote unquote, let's see. Trump, Florida buying drugs from Canada. Let's see. Let's see. Sun Sentinel in Florida. Florida's plan for cheaper prescription drug drugs is cleared under Trump order. Florida's push to import cheaper prescription drugs advanced Friday. It advanced. When Donald Trump signed an executive order and took a moment to praise, there you go out and buy these drugs, save 50 to 60%. One thing I'll tell you, Ron, and he handles pressure well, blah, blah, blah. You were laser focused on lowering drug prices for the people of Florida. This has helped him get reelected. We're getting slaughtered by drug prices, Trump said Friday. He has long complained that countries where the government sets the price of drugs are taking advantage of American consumers. Finally allow safe and legal importation, blah, blah, blah. One of the executive orders Trump signed Friday, it allows states, wholesalers, pharmacies to import FDA-approved drugs from foreign countries and sell them in the U.S. It includes a special provision to allow wholesalers and pharmacies to re-import insulin and biological drugs. But the pharmaceutical industry has said importation would undermine U.S. quality standards. It fought Florida's importation plan, blitzing the airwaves with ads to oppose the bill. In the statement, the Pharmaceutical Research and Manufacturers of America called DeSantis' plan a reckless policy that could have a devastating impact on patient safety by introducing counterfeit drugs into the market. Yeah, it's not drugs that are made in Canada, simply ones that are sold through Canada. Okay. And this was, I mean, that was in June he signed that one. Let's see. For America, let's see. All right. For over the objections of drug makers, the Trump administration is expected within weeks to finalize a plan that would allow states to import some prescription medicines from Canada. 6 states, Florida, Colorado, Florida, Maine, New Hampshire, New Mexico, and Vermont, have passed laws allowing them to seek federal approval to buy drugs from Canada to give their residents lower-cost medicines. But industry observers say the drug importation proposal under review by the administration is squarely aimed at Florida, the most populous swing state in the November election. Yeah, and let's see. Approving Florida would be a politically astute thing to do. Yeah. CEO of FDA Imports, a consulting firm in Glen Burnie, Maryland, said the OMB typically has 60 days to review final rules. So expects, yeah, so they're rushing it through before 9:30. Okay. Office of Management and Budget is already going to sign on this. So they waited, and did not. They're not talking about it. Food and Drug final plan was delivered September 10th. The Office of Management and Budget review. Prices are cheaper because Canada limits how much drug makers can charge for medicines. The United States lets the free market dictate drug prices. The pharmaceutical industry will likely sue the Trump administration if it goes forward with the importation plan, saying the plan violates several federal laws and the U.S. Constitution. But the most stinging rebuke of the Trump importation plan came from the Canadian government, which said the proposal would make it harder for Canadian citizens to get drugs, putting their health at risk, because we would just buy them out. The same thing with our health stuff. Without the buy-in from Canada, any plan to import medicines is unlikely to succeed. So Canada has to agree to this. Are they going to try and force this through with the USMCA? Is that how it's going to? The administration, oh, look at that. The administration's proposal builds on a 2000 law that opened the door to allowing drug importation from Canada, but the provision would take effect only if Health and Human Services Secretary certified importation as safe, something that Democrat and Republican administrations have refused to do because they don't want the deaths on their hands, because these are all going to be drugs bounced through Canada from Pakistan at the lowest, cheapest price possible, not stuff that is used by Canadians, but is just bought through sellers in Canada. It's just going to be a bump through low-end drugs. That's lovely. Good stuff.
America First healthcare plan includes another historic provision to benefit our great seniors. Under my plan, 33 million Medicare beneficiaries will soon receive a card in the mail containing $200 that they can use to help pay for prescription drugs. Nobody's seen this before. These cards are incredible. The cards will be mailed out in coming weeks. I will always take
They'll have your name and picture on them.
Our wonderful senior citizens. Joe Biden.
This is the apology card for saying they can just go die.
I'll be doing this.
Really? Because Biden and Obama shepherded through the pre-existing condition stuff. Your party was against it. Yeah, $200 in discount. That's right.
And this is also partially because of the tremendous money that we're going to be saving with the favored nations and various other things that we've done.
Going to?
We've approved more affordable generic drugs than any administration in history.
That's the same. Okay, same stat I just told you. Same stat. All these drugs that became generic, it's like we've approved more generic drugs because more have gone online in the last 3 years than in the previous 8.
But I have had many doctors who I have great respect for, by the way, come to me and I say, well, what's the difference between this and this? One is a very well-known name. One is just a pill in a bottle with no tag on it. And they said, zero. I said, must be a little bit better, right? The name zero. And yet the name brand will cost 5 and even 10 times more money than the generic. So we've approved more generic drugs than anybody at a rapid pace too. We're also requiring that low-income patients receive the benefits of government discounts on insulin and the EpiPen, and that, you know, that is a big deal. That is a big deal. Insulin is one of the most common medicines for seniors.
Yeah, we know. By the way, I don't want to hear any of these jerks who are clapping complain about the ACA, which worked on the initial lowering of costs for this and to buy in bulk. Yeah, the fact that we need as much insulin as we do is not a good, outlier for our healthcare system either. I'm trying to empty the tip jar. I push the button. Sometimes it takes and sometimes it doesn't.
And this is something that SEMA worked on so hard. Insulin prices soared under the last administration, like you wouldn't believe, right, SEMA? Under my plan, hundreds of thousands of Medicare patients will see their insulin costs capped at just $35 a month. That's a 66% cost reduction.
Yeah, it's a government subsidy. Stuff you guys are normally against until you're in office.
And this feature will be available on over 1,600 Medicare plans that seniors can begin signing up for starting October 1st. And under certain circumstances, SEMA, It's literally almost free. This insulin, which they were just ripping you on, is close to being free, even lower than the $35 a month. So you did a fantastic.
The cost of insulin on lots of healthcare plans and Medicare, Medicaid is subsidized. This is just bullshit.
Big job.
Just like, yeah, almost free.
Thank you very much.
There's a tip jar there too.
And Seema would come to my office, sir, I have something so exciting. She worked on that for a long time and getting that done, but it is exciting. If you need insulin, a lot of people were going without it. They just couldn't afford it. Now they can definitely afford it.
Dude doesn't even know what insulin is. He doesn't know. Like, remember the whole, like, should I be taking insulin? I hear a lot about insulin. It's very...
Accelerate our relentless effort to save seniors money on their premiums. Since I took office, we reduced Medicare Part D premiums by 12%, Medicare Advantage.
Ooh, 12%. It's almost like it was designed to be on track for that.
Premiums are also down dramatically, a 44% reduction in North Carolina. Good. 43% lower in Pennsylvania, and a 54% lower price in Michigan. So that's
only mentioning states he needs to win.
And we have them all over the country. All over.
Yeah. He very well may be. I mean, I think largely his not having diabetes has more to do with, and this depends on what his ice cream and cake situation is that he's been a savory overeater most of his life, so he hasn't panicked his pancreas.
For the country there.
That's why he's got other problems.
Numbers just like that will ensure that all seniors pay the same price for the same service, whether at a hospital, a surgery center, or a doctor's office. This will save seniors billions and billions of dollars a year. We're talking about the billions. And it also saves our government a lot of money, but will save our senior citizens billions of dollars a year. Fantastic job. We're putting into place the largest package of saving for seniors of any administration in history. No administration.
That's not true. I would venture to say that the very creation of Medicare and Medicaid might actually qualify. I know you lowered some costs by 12%, in line with the lowering of costs of other administrations, but the actual creation of these things might mark up as the lowest, because, I mean, when these things were implemented, I know Reagan sent out records and tried to get people to not do them because it was communism creeping into our system, but the people who ended up being served by these things didn't end up having a lot of money to spend. There was a lot of poverty, especially around the elderly, hence Social Security, hence Medicare and Medicaid, and ultimately, all of these people, where they didn't save money, they stayed alive. Don't know what the price tag is on that.
Is even close to what we've done, and I've said it, having to do much more than even health care. There's no administration in its first 3.5 years that's done anywhere close to the things we've done. And I never even get criticized for saying it. That must mean it's...
Yeah, you do. We're just busy criticizing you for other shit most of the time that's way more egregious. This is like standard run-of-the-mill political puffery.
True, right, my congressman and my great senator? Under the Democrat plan, costs will skyrocket. Our seniors will lose the benefits they paid into their entire... I mean, they've been paying for their entire lives, tremendous amounts of money, all to finance socialism and open borders. I mean...
What? Why have these old people been paying to finance socialism and open borders?
We're just helping other countries, countries that aren't even friends of ours. But we help our friends and we help socialism all over the world, and we hurt our people, and we're not doing that any longer.
What? Yeah, we're not going to help the UK. Screw Boris Johnson. And it's a what?
As long as I'm president.
So just a couple more months?
No one will lay a hand on your Medicare. Your Medicare is going to be safe, and it's going to be solid.
Social Security, not so much.
The final pillar of America First healthcare plan is better care. That's better care for American patients. The historic action
What are we going to educate our doctors? We're focus on nutrition. We're going to try and wean people off expensive pharmaceutical drugs and develop a nationwide healthcare plan so that people look long-term at their health, so they exercise more. You're going to give them like tax credits for gym memberships, shit like that? No?
today includes the first ever executive order to affirm it is the official policy of the United States government to protect patients with pre-existing conditions. So we're making that official.
So, again, National Donut Day.
Putting it down in a stamp because our opponents, the Democrats, like to constantly talk about it, and yet
they passed a law and financed it. They created an entire tax structure to guarantee it. You're signing an executive order like, you know, like naming a bridge.
Existing conditions are much safer with us than they are with them, and now we have it affirmed. This is affirmed, signed, and done.
Yeah, pull my finger. I'll give you as much of a support structure for pre-existing condition coverage.
So we can put that to rest. They'll say
it's nonsense
anyway because it's just.
Yeah, we'll say it because just because you write something down. Okay, all four of those executive orders on healthcare, Peter Navarro was on television the very next day going, we're working on the details of what's in them now. He signed them before they even wrote anything in them. There were no details. This is puffery.
Information.
Yeah, we can say whatever we want.
Same thing goes for Social Security. You remember during the last campaign 4 years ago, they kept saying I was going to destroy Social Security. I made.
Yeah, and you did. You actually are trying to end the payroll tax, make it a permanent holiday, and defund Social Security by 2023.
Social Security stronger, better. They will be the ones that destroy Social Security because they're going to destroy our country. They will destroy our economy. So Social Security, nothing happened.
What?
Saying whatever happened to Social Security? Remember, he is going to immediately attack. No, just the opposite.
Just the opposite. I waited till the very end of my term to attack it. Not right away. Not immediately. The opposite of immediately. Later. But I did.
Security is 100% with me, but it's not 100% with them.
Based on what? What the shit are you talking about?
Any health care.
By the way, notice the lack of applause because everybody in this audience wants to get rid of Social Security.
Reform legislation that comes to my desk from Congress must protect the pre-existing conditions or I won't sign it. And I made that pledge, last week, but now I'm making it in writing. We're putting it down, and we have it signed, and we have it sealed.
What? They'll just bring them a healthcare plan that doesn't mention it. Oh, it's got to say it's going to protect stuff. If it says it's not going to, then I won't sign it. But if it doesn't say anything, I'll still sign it.
The new Democrat lie is that they will cover pre-existing conditions, but
no, they did.
In truth, the socialist takeover, economic shutdowns that they talk about, if you look at this state, frankly, where you have Democrat governors, Democrat leaders, those states are in very, very bad shape with all of their shutdowns. Pennsylvania, you take a look at what's going on in Pennsylvania with the shutdown. We just won a big court case where a judge, great federal judge, ruled it unconstitutional what they were doing. They're hurting people. There's damage on the other side of a shutdown.
Oh my God, we're just going to wander off into this bullshit now? During his America First healthcare plan, this asshole is arguing against taking mitigating factors against a pandemic. This is the conversation. This is where he thinks to go. Not some sideline story about how, you know, when I came down to North Carolina, we went duck hunting and blah, 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 like some politicians do. This asshole is literally in the middle of his America First healthcare plan. Is like, we got to blow this shit up. We got to go with herd immunity. I can't take this. We're going to wreck our economy, and I can only run on one thing, the illusion that I was creating jobs. Donald Trump was on par to create half the jobs Jimmy Carter created in a single term. Half. Less than half. Jimmy Carter created like 10.6 million jobs. He was on par to create 4.8. Or to put it in Republican terms, 4.8 jobs were created during the years he was president, because they don't give Obama credit for any of the jobs that he created, so why should we give him credit? But Carter, 10.6 million jobs. Trump, 4.8 million before the pandemic. And we officially hit a recession in February.
Suicides and drug use and all of the alcohol. It's a terrible thing that happens. And Michigan's another state. The shutdown is very severe. By the way, on November 4th, I'm sure everything will be open. They'll announce on the evening.
Well, if they're going to do that, then they're not going to do a big, massive shutdown that will wreck the economy. You can't just tell people 2 seconds ago that Biden gets in, they're going to do a massive shutdown. They're going to wreck our economy because these shutdowns. They want to shut. There's bad sides to these shutdowns, and as soon as they get in, they're going to shut everything down. But by the way, the day after the election, they're going to open it up.
Of November 3rd.
And by the way, you're still president on November 3rd, on November 4th.
We're opening up.
Unless you resign, and have Pence pardon you, which is...
Unless these unsolicited ballots don't come in for weeks and weeks and weeks. They want them to come in over a long period of time. It's going to be a very interesting...
No, they don't. No, everybody's voting early. No. 3 to 7 days for the ones that are cast on Election Day. Before that, they all arrive, they sit there until Election Day, and they're counted on Election Day just like every other ballot. And oftentimes, they will check them beforehand, and they'll have 48 hours to cure the ballot if it shows up that the signature is wrong or that it's missing its interior envelope and it gets thrown out for any reason. They'll call you up. They'll go, hey, you voted, but you're missing this thing or whatever. You want to fix this? Can you come in? Do you want to solve this? Did you really vote this way? Can we, and they'll do that. Yeah.
Interesting day. November 3rd. It's going to be a very interesting day. And coverage for illegal immigrants will collapse. Our economy will collapse under their system.
Okay. Coverage that they're talking about is for DACA recipients on their road to being citizens, and the mixed with people at the border who go in with an infectious disease and they don't want to check their immigration status when they come into a hospital immediately. Because if you get sick and you're in there, believe me, ICE is going to find out. They're going to come and get you and scoop you up. But if you don't come into the hospital at all and you just spread a disease through the entire community, it's kind of, yeah. My mom working as a nurse in Kentucky, one of the things that they had was they had social diseases that would come in through migrant workers oftentimes, and because they would not go to the hospital to get treated because they didn't want their immigration status checked, it would just run rampant through the entire community, even people who were there legally, because people wouldn't get themselves treated. Whereas if you go, you let them get treated, and then you go, yeah, you better deal with your stuff. Treat them as human beings who need medical attention, as opposed to, criminals, as it were. I mean, cop killers come in with gunshot wounds. The doctors treat them. They don't go, what kind of American are you? Another conversation. But one of the things that, with contagious disease specifically, one of the reasons why you don't want to card check people when they come in for those things is because they won't come in and then they'll spread it to everybody. Like citizens, like your fellow Americans and the like, and your ICE workers and your ICE agents and your DHS workers.
Your healthcare system, totally insolvent. You know that as great doctors and people that do this, you know that what they're doing is socialized medicine, and it's not acceptable.
It isn't? Then why are you buying drugs from Canada where they've gotten their prices down so low and their life expectancy is up? If it's terrible, explain yourself. Why are you nuzzling the teat of Canada if the milk is bad?
To be a disaster in terms of quality and cost. It'll ruin our country. Under their plan, you'll lose your doctor again, and you will lose your
How can I lose him twice?
coverage. You will lose
Maybe he's just old and he's getting lost.
everything having to do with what we're talking about on my watch. I will never let the radical left take away your health care. You'll always have health care.
What are you talking about? The quote-unquote radical left is running on the idea of socialized medicine so that everybody has coverage. You don't have to agree with Medicare for all or any of these things. You certainly don't. But the idea is there's literally the biggest fight on the left was how best to provide health care to every American, regardless of political party or geography, as quickly as possible. And in the same speech, this dude is like, we're going to get the same drug prices as Germany and Canada.
The America First healthcare plan will deliver another long-awaited reform. We will put you in control of your own medical records. Good.
Somebody yelled something. Don't know what that is. I don't know.
Will require.
I've always kept mine with Dr. Teeth from the Muppets.
Doctors to make your records available electronically, and you'll own them and you'll control them.
And people can hack them, and you could store them, and people will get, they'll scam old people.
And they will be portable, and you'll be able to work seamlessly with all of your medical providers. It'll make your life a lot easier. Much, much easier. The previous administration, led by Sleepy Joe Biden, spent 30.
By the way, you can't go led by Sleepy Joe Biden when A, he was the vice president, and B, you sound like you're about to doze off. For Christ's sake, man.
$5 billion and failed to get it done. You know that, $35 billion.
Yeah, you just dumped $6.5 trillion on the economy, and you got 10.6% unemployment.
Where they've...
The deficit under Trump is $3 trillion. The deficit under Obama, $485 billion. Tell me about the rampant spending of the last administration. Asshole says what?
We are delivering to give critically ill patients access to life-saving treatment. I also signed Right to Try. You know what Right to Try is. To me, Right to Try is so great. It's so
again.
Great. And what I think
wait, bring something out. Let's see it.
I'll do it really quickly. I'm going to run
I got a letter.
through just a quick list of accomplishments that we've done. And, you know, we've really
Why is it not in the teleprompter?
become the healthcare party, the Republican Party, and nobody knows that.
Yeah, no, because it's nobody knows that. Like nobody knows there's a unicorn farm in Iowa.
The news doesn't talk about it.
Because it's fake.
But I'm going to just say, it's a list of things that we've done.
Oh, it looks like a pretty list. Read the list. What's the list?
And
did he just drop one?
it'll go quickly, but I just thought I'd take it out. I said, I'd like to read that to the audience of professionals today. And this is just a partial list.
Yeah, it's just great. What is it? Okay, so Right to Try.
You repealed the individual mandate.
You already said that.
Eliminated.
That doesn't, by the way, that doesn't help people get care. That keeps people from getting care.
Obamacare's health insurance, medical device, and the Cadillac taxes. That's a big deal.
Not a Cadillac tax. Richer people would have to get insurance, or they paid more because they could afford insurance.
People forget all of this.
Yeah, they forget that they subsidized poor people and the indigent, and by making sure that people like you actually have health care plans.
They say, I wonder who did that. Could it have been Joe Biden? He doesn't know what it is.
You don't know what it is. You don't know what that is. That literally, let's roll back. This asshole does not know what the Cadillac tax is.
Health insurance.
Probably because he's like, I don't drive, never mind.
Medical device, and the Cadillac taxes. That's a big deal. People forget all of this. They say, I wonder who did that. Could it have been Joe Biden? He doesn't know what it is.
Why would Joe Biden work to eliminate things that kept the Affordable Care Act stable?
Expanded association.
I don't know who's all there. It's a group of sycophants.
Health plans. Increased availability of short-term limited duration plans.
Dude, this is all the stuff that's in the teleprompter. You just said this. It doesn't make it true because you said it twice.
Expanded health reimbursement arrangements. Big deal.
Big deal. Expanded health reimbursement arrangements.
Lowered prescription drug prices.
What is a Cadillac tax anyways? It's a tax on higher, these uber expensive healthcare plans that people like Donald Trump have for themselves. They pay tax on it, on that money, instead of writing it off. So you make $250,000 as a couple in your household, and you're paying for insurance for your whole family, and you get a decent plan, you're going to get a tax credit for that because you're helping the country and you're helping lower medical costs by carrying proper insurance. If you're Donald Trump and you have this ridiculous, I want to get speed delivered in the middle of the night, and I only ride in Cadillac ambulances to the hospital. All these, if getting your teeth recapped and hair plugs are covered in your insurance, then you get taxed on it. You don't get a tax credit like everyone else does. That's all.
And you will see them at a level that you'll never see this again. They will.
He doesn't know what he's talking
about. Go down so low. And as I said, we had the largest annual decrease. We had the only decrease over a 52-year period. More generic prescriptions approved.
In medical costs. Yeah.
Saving America an estimated $2.6 billion in the first 18 months of the administration alone. So in 18 months, we saved $2.6 billion with generic.
And you just spent $6.4 trillion.
Drugs.
And all you had to do was pay $23 million for a pandemic response team, and we would have been ahead of this. At least 100,000 people would still be alive who had died, and we would have had all the resources we would need going into this.
Signed 4 executive orders to lower prescription drug prices. Signed legislation banning pharmacy gag clauses. Does that make sense to you?
I signed it. I don't know what it is. The pharmacy gag clause is it's illegal in a bunch of states anyways, and I think there were elements of it they wanted it in the ACA too, which is your pharmacist is selling you, you get prescribed a drug, and your pharmacist says, I've got a generic. You want the generic? The pharmaceutical companies wanted it to be illegal for them to recommend a generic. Your doctor can say there's a generic form, or you can find out on your own and ask the pharmacist, but the pharmacist can't take initiative and tell you.
I mean, what people were under, and what even the pharmacists had to do was...
They were gagging. Explain it. Explain what... I just explained it. And I was in Dr. Dolittle too. If I can understand it, I was the voice of a bee. If I can get it together.
It was embarrassing to them. Took executive action to ensure...
What did you think it was, an NDA about hookers?
Price transparency in healthcare. That'll be one of the biggest things, and most people have no idea what it means.
Somebody said that. Alex Azar said to him, that, Mr. President, that'll be one of the biggest things, and most people don't even know what that means. And you go, okay, I'll say that then.
I said, some people said that's bigger than healthcare. Required hospital.
It is health. It has to do with healthcare. What do you mean bigger than healthcare? You can't not have a plan because you did this. This is ridiculous.
To post standard prices on the internet, modernize and strengthen Medicare with more options, more benefits, and lower premiums substantially.
Yeah, just write that in there that we're going to do that. By the way, I don't know if you guys know this. I have a list of my accomplishments here, which is make millions and billions, being the greatest streaming political voice in America today. Have a solar-powered space mansion with a submarine that goes out through an underwater tunnel. To fight crime with a tickle machine. Stuff I've done. This is just a partial list.
Improve kidney care, such a big deal, with more transplants and better treatment. Kidney care is so tough for people with a problem.
By the way, my father has kidney issues. He'll need a transplant. He's dealing with this right now. Everybody's been working on this forever. The only thing that will make a huge difference is 3D printed organs from your own cells. That's the game changer.
Very substantially lowered the price of insulin, as we said, for our seniors. Invested in advances in generic therapy for sickle cell disease. Big thing, big thing, big thing.
What he means is they bought some of the generics through Medicare and Medicaid. Because you do. Because Medicare and Medicaid do. They buy those things. They invested in it.
Well,
He's now taking credit for things that were just in bills he signed. That he had no interest in or had no idea what was in them.
$500 million initiative to find cures for childhood cancers. $500 million.
Yeah, excuse me. Freemasons have done more for to prevent childhood cancer than the President of the United States.
Combated drug demand. We really went very, very strong on drug demand and the opioid crisis with expanded access to medication-assisted treatment and life-saving naloxone. Naloxone.
Naloxone. Naloxone. I got so much to give. I want to get some. I gotta get some too. Naloxone.
Opioid prescribed decrease by over 35%.
Opioid prescriptions have decreased by over 35%. That has been true for the last 8 years.
So if you look at the opioid, obviously, horror show, it decreased by over 35% since January of 2017. We've worked very, very hard on that.
He doesn't understand that that's not the number of deaths, not the misuse, that's the lowering of the prescribing of that. You know why? Because of bills passed in 2015 and 2016. That's why he said starting in January of 2017, that's before he took office.
Launched findtreatment.gov to connect those with substance abuse disorder to treatment. We have an incredible situation. It's findtreatment.gov. Passed right to try to give critically ill patients access.
Yeah, we heard that part. He's literally just, why are you reading the cliff notes to your own speech? Do we have to hear this speech twice? Look, I heard this thing about if you repeat the lie loud enough and often enough, people take it as truth. So if you don't mind, I also have this written on a scroll.
Cures where it hasn't been approved yet by the FDA.
Yeah, you mentioned that earlier.
Incredible.
Also, okay, hold on. I know. We're gonna make this take forever, but right to try legislation. Let's see, where is it? No. Right to try. Oh, here you go. I'll just go with a magazine that he really likes. Let's just try it. I'll show you what I mean. The Atlantic. Trump loves the Atlantic. This is so weird. Like, what a weird. The kid's happy, But look at him. He looks like, ugh. The disingenuousness of right to try. Like, I mean, this will be too long to get into, but there's a version of this that's been around for a long time, and he's pretending like it's brand new.
And by the way, many of you know what that has meant. We have had some examples of success that on right to try that have been amazing.
Are you going to bring in the families of the people that it didn't work for? No? Why not?
Launched an initiative to end AIDS, HIV/AIDS in America. We think in 6 years it will be largely eradicated. Who would have ever thought? And this could have.
We all thought that. That was the entirety of the point. That's been the goal for 30 years.
Started 2 years before I got there, but they chose not to do it. But we have, and we've launched the.
What? What are you talking about?
Started 2 years. Will be largely eradicated. Who would have ever thought? And this could have started 2 years before I got there, but they chose not to do it. But we.
What is that based on? I mean, first of all, like nonsense. But how's he basing the? I need to know what he's basing that. They could have started it 2 years before I got in to try and end it. You mean because the technology didn't actually get to the point where they could do it until now? Again, people, can you not try to take credit for the year you happen to live in and pretend it's because of you?
Have, and we've launched the initiative. It's into its almost 4th year. And at the time we did it, it was going to be 10 years. At the end of 10 years, now 6 years, we're already down to 6. It will largely.
Because PrEP came into existence.
Eradicate.
It's because of PrEP.
AIDS, HIV/AIDS in America. Who would have thought that?
Everybody thought that. Especially when treatments came online where it no longer became a death sentence, and you could stop the spread of it. Everybody's like, oh, well, if people can get their viral load down, as soon as Magic Johnson's viral load went down to the point where he tested negative, people are like, oh yeah, then okay, we can get rid of it. It'll be hard, but we can manage.
It's incredible. When I first heard about it,
it's almost as if the clock moves forward.
When I first heard about it, I said, why wouldn't they have started it early? But they didn't.
They couldn't, because time passes forward in linear.
Expanded access to telehealth, especially in rural and underserved areas.
Yeah. The reason you do it in rural and, quote, underserved areas is because they're further away, so going to see a doctor. If you live in the middle of nowhere, you're far from the doctor, like the grocery store and the movie theater. And
that's a big deal.
Notice he says, signed VA choice legislation. He means the Mission Act, which was a modification of the Choice Act. This is their lie.
It's the real choice, not the weak choice, the very, very weak. The choice that didn't mean anything.
The choice that didn't mean anything? Really? Really, that all the rules that you modified by 2 days and 15 minutes?
But it's been a tremendous success, and we just got a 91%.
He's been saying this for, what, since January?
Approval rating from our vets, the highest we've ever had by a lot. The highest.
Yeah, it's almost as if the Obama administration passed that in 2014, the law went into effect, and they got rid of a lot of the bad people that were in there and fixed the systems over the course of 6 years, and now they're happy with it. Weird.
And we also, while we're at it, we signed accountability, VA accountability. That's
the same. God damn it. Hold on. This is just aggravating. I can't. I can't let it slide, guys. I know. I bring this up every time, mainly for our lovely maggots that are in the crowd. Whoops, 2014. Invert. There we go. So can we just hold on? Let me break this out. There we go.
Where people don't love our vets, if they don't take care of our vets, you couldn't do anything about it. They'd have to live in hell with these vets.
Expedite, seek the removal or transfer of senior executive based on poor performance or misconduct with an abbreviated process for appeal. All of these things are like, you can't put out a cigarette on a vet and not go to jail. I don't care where you work. Like, I don't care what they're talking about. But the senior people who may have had some protection, who allowed it to happen, or hired the person knowing that they weren't qualified, those folks get kicked out.
With the people that we're supposed to be taking care of. And we have a thing called VA accountability. They're accountable now. If they don't treat our vets great, if they don't take care of our vets, if they don't love our vets, our country, we can fire them. We can say, you're fired.
Oh, God, he can't even do his line right. Christ. Did he just do a shitty version of "you're fired"? Good God.
Our country, we can fire them. We can say, you're fired.
Well, that was pitiful.
Fire them. VA accountability. That's a big thing. So VA choice, VA accountability, took executive action to prevent veteran suicide and launched the 24-hour veteran hotline for suicide. And it's really working. And signed the largest ever increase in child care development block grants. Those are just
block grants. So they don't, so the red states don't have to spend it on child care or development. They can spend it wherever they want because it's a block grant.
Those are just some of the
things that I've said twice tonight.
Those are some of the things that we've done. We've done actually a lot more than that, but we have to get back to business here, right? Those are things that we've done, and nobody has any idea when you look at a list like that. Democrats have never done anything like that.
I can't. Sorry. Stop me before I fact check again.
Under the Democrat socialist agenda, an avalanche of regulation would extinguish the flame of excellence that makes America the center of scientific discovery, groundbreaking treatment, and life-saving cures. In our all-out war against the virus, we've lifted bureaucratic barriers and marshaled America's scientific, industrial, and technical brilliance, and we do have total brilliance. Some of it's in this room, by the way, in case you don't know.
Dude, take a breath. Nobody's going anywhere.
I will apply. It really is some of the people, right?
Yeah, I should be able to get a little bit of applause, just, because I say stuff. Okay, here's a couple. 20 million people got insurance. Uninsured rate under African Americans declined by 53%. Among Latino adults by 27%. Gains for women have been particularly rapid. The reduction in the uninsured rate since 2013 has been 13% larger than the reduction for men. They prohibited coverage of denials and reduced benefits, protected as million. Whoops. Didn't like the page. It was full of stuff. It was an archive, so it was very loud. Created temporary risk pools to cover uninsured people with pre-existing conditions prior to the 2014 reforms, which helped more than 130,000 people. Required health insurers to provide a consumer with rebates if the money they spend on the health benefits and quality of care as opposed to advertising. Hi, cats. This is just from the Obama White House page from ages ago.
Some incredible people in this room. I'll apply the same determination to accelerate medical breakthroughs in all areas, including for Alzheimer's, diabetes, generic treatments for sickle cell disease, early detection of cancer, and much, much more.
You mean science will continue to move forward?
Improve care for Americans with kidney disease. We enable patients to receive at-home dialysis, and we're investing in the creation of an artificial kidney. We're getting very close. And we introduce critical incentives to make more kidneys available.
Who's we?
for transplant, a change that will save tens of thousands of lives. What people have to go through with kidney disease is incredible. It's
Yeah, just say it. Just say incredible.
incredible.
Don't explain why you think that.
They
Show your work.
work so hard. I said,
Especially when you look that jaundiced.
how do? They can live a long life, but it's so much work to do it that they literally, one doctor told me that they die of hard work. It's such a job to go and, I guess, dialysis, etc. It's such a hard job that they die of literally, they die of just hard work.
Just the understanding that he's capable of. It's really a miracle.
It's incredible what we've done there.
Yes, he is taking credit for all advancements in modern medicine.
And what we're doing, and especially with some of the research that's been done, what we're coming up with, you'll be seeing it very soon.
Yeah.
Medicine and medical and what we're doing, I believe. As we invest in the future, we will permanently bring our medical supply chains back home. We will produce our medical supplies, pharmaceuticals, and treatments right here in the United States, right here in North Carolina.
Oh, he's starting to get mouth sloshy.
We're going to bring a lot of business too. If you remember, Puerto Rico used to do it, and then they brought tax legislation that destroyed that whole thing. They all left, but they were very happy in Puerto Rico. We're going to bring it back to Puerto Rico and many of our states that will be doing it. And North Carolina, I see, is on the list as being a very top one. So we're going to bring it back to North Carolina, the country.
The country of North Carolina?
And we'll reverse the disastrous and heartless decision Joe Biden made in 1996 to shut down the pharmaceutical industry in Puerto Rico. It took place in 1996. Biden shut down the whole Puerto Rico industry. This was a very good industry.
That's incredible. How did he manage to do that? Hold on. That requires a lookup. Biden shut down Puerto Rico pharma. What? Here you go. This is what they're using. Hold on. This is a Washington Post. Trump hopes Biden's 1996 vote on a tax break will make Puerto Rican voters forget Hurricane Maria. On Friday afternoon, President Trump appeared in the White House briefing room to provide an update on the strategies to undergird his re-election campaign. Began by claiming that a vaccine for the virus will be here soon. Tens of millions, blah, blah, blah. We'll keep it, nobody even close, just to make sure you're not confused. It was, in fact, Donald John Trump, 45th president, making that claim. Trump repeatedly disparaged the island and its leaders as him protecting Puerto Rico. The claim is even more ridiculous when it's considered in context. Trump was identifying himself as the island savior in contrast with former President Barack Obama and former Vice President Joe Biden, his opponent in the November election. What had Biden done that made him so much worse for residents of Puerto Rico? Well, in 1996, he was one of 76 Senate votes in support of the Small Business Job Protection Act, which rescinded a tax break that benefited the island by allowing it to serve as a tax shelter. Every Democrat in the Senate at the time supported the bill, as did most of the Republican majority. 76 out of both parties. The Small Business Job Protection Act wasn't focused only on Puerto Rico, mind you. It additionally increased the minimum wage, simplified the process for employers to set up 401k plans, a prominent part of Trump's rhetoric on a normal day, and introduced new tax breaks, including one centered on adoptive parents. Biden's support for this bill is why Trump thinks Puerto Rican voters should think of him instead view him as their defender. That's the thing, that he went in and shut the lights on pharmaceutical companies. You mean drug dealers?
They were doing a fantastic job, and one day it was just literally gone. Biden shut it down with what he did with taxes, and it was a disgrace, but we will bring it back.
It was a disgrace. Explain yourself. I don't know what he's talking about, but let's just pretend
Under our
it's true.
leadership, American medicine will make the biggest breakthroughs, the largest leaps, the most exciting strides, and the most outstanding discoveries. Before I sign a historic executive order implementing this ambitious agenda, let me introduce two Americans, great Americans, who will benefit from our policies.
Okay, skipping.
And everyone is now covered, and Julia always has access to the doctor she needs. Julia, we are with you. I don't know where you are, Julia. Where is Julia? Wow, thank you. Thank you. Hi, Shane. North Carolina. They're incredible people, people I love. I love the people. We named, as you know, my grandchild is named Carolina, so.
Good God.
Beautiful Carolina, my most beautiful child. But we're providing better care and more choice at a low.
Be completely focused on your female grandchild's looks, considering your history of speaking about your daughter.
Cost, substantially lower cost. We're delivering a healthier, safer, brighter, and more prosperous future for every citizen in our magnificent land because we are proudly putting America first. That hasn't happened for a long time.
Why? Because you say it? Because it's written on the thing? He doesn't even buy it now. Look at him.
On behalf of all Americans, I will now sign the executive order. I want to thank you all for being.
Yeah, why don't you sign a non-binding resolution while you're at it and call it a moon rocket?
Here. God bless you, God bless North Carolina, and God bless America. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Calm yourself, guys.
That's a lot of work.
That's a lot of stuff.
That's great. Hi, Julia.
What's a lot of work? Does he believe he's signing whatever's in that book? And he's gonna hand out pens. Jesus Christ, if he hands her one, I'm gonna flip out. Go to, now I know we're not gonna do a bunch of this because it's already late and I've got to get back to work. But I just want to, I'm gonna jump in and take a second of this, really. Ooh, sweat much?
Joe Biden championed every globalist betrayal of America.
Globalist Jews.
For 47 years, he was a cheerleader for NAFTA, the worst trade deal ever made. Emptied out your factories. And he was a cheerleader for China's entry into the World Trade Organization. I took the toughest ever action to stand up to China's rampant theft of American jobs.
No, you didn't. Okay, garbage. Wait, what did he say? That they cheered so much?
We killed the founder and leader of ISIS, al-Baghdadi.
Right.
We took out the world's #1 terrorist, all over the world, #1. The mass murder of American troops and many others. Qasem Soleimani is dead. Took him out. He did the biggest thing. All right.
Okay, this is his
In
riff.
fact, I was nominated for 2 Nobel Peace Prizes last week. You know the story.
Yes, it's a story.
You know the story. And I told our great First Lady, I said, First Lady, I was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. I'm going to come home early. I'm going to watch it on NBC News, which is one of the biggest scam jobs I've ever seen. NBC, probably worse than CNN, NBC. But we're going to watch it. We're going to watch the evening news. So we'll watch second place NBC. You know, it is the second place. They spend all this money on PR, and then I hit them hard. But they are bad. I said, First Lady.
That's a story about Comcast, by the way, not NBC. I don't know why.
You see it, Nobel.
Yeah, he is sweating. This is Elvis in the last days.
Prize. This will definitely be the biggest thing. All right.
And by the way, This is a thin line between Trump supporters and Elvis fans. I'm saying if he died on the shitter, which is not entirely inconceivable, people would be saying they saw him in malls forever. I saw Q. He told me to go to a place and I saw Donald Trump.
Ladies
and a piece of toast.
and gentlemen, NBC News. They start off with you. They said you had some heavy rain. They started off with something else. Now the show's almost over. He said, First Lady, they're not mentioning the Nobel Peace Prize. This is very embarrassing. But then it was okay because 2 days later I got nominated again. That was for Israel. I got nominated again.
Jesus, dude.
And I remember when Obama got? They said, ladies and gentlemen,
Barack
Hussein Obama has just been nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. So what happened? I said, First Lady, I just got nominated again, this time for Kosovo, Serbia. They're not killing each other anymore. I stopped it.
I stopped it.
Totally different. The first was Israel, right? Bahrain, UAE. This one was Kosovo, totally different. I don't know if that's ever happened before. I said, First Lady, let's give it another shot.
You call her First Lady?
We watched.
What a weird thing to say.
News never even mentioned. When Barack Obama got his Nobel Prize.
Why would you call your wife First Lady? Is that in the prenup that you renegotiated earlier this year?
Immediately after he got elected. They asked him, why did you get it? He had no clue. Nobody knew. And it was a big story. Breaking news. We have breaking news. They didn't have breaking news when I got it, but that's why we understand the press. We understand them very well. They're fake. The last administration made a pathetic one-sided deal with a Castro dictatorship that betrayed the Cuban people and enriched the communist regime. My opponent stands with socialists.
Dude, this guy just literally says that he let in during the presidency, during the Trump presidency, he allowed a bioweapon to attack the United States. Under his estimation, China could have stopped it, and they chose not to, so therefore they attacked us with a bioweapon passively. It was a depraved indifference, and he let it slide so he could sell them a bunch of corn. They just ordered a huge order of beef and a huge order of soybeans, soybeans and cattle.
Communists, I stand with the proud people of Cuba, Nicaragua, Venezuela.
Not the people of China or Russia. Clearly not Alexei Navalny.
Their righteous struggle.
The Ukrainians, the people of Crimea, no?
For freedom, and you're going to win it very soon. You're going to win that very soon. The last administration.
Wait, you're not free now? What are you talking about? You're in the United States.
Also negotiated the terrible Obama-Biden-Santos deal with Colombian drug cartels. They surrendered the narco-terrorists. They surrendered to them, and they caused illicit drug production to soar. Under my administration, we worked with our Colombian partners to launch a historic
What? Okay. Yes, we are definitely doing the debates.
Operation against the drug traffickers. And since April, we have seized or disrupted 227 metric tons of poisonous narcotics. Nobody has ever done anything like it.
No, actually, it's actually par for the course. It's pretty much dead on. That amount of drugs has been coming into the United States since the 70s. It's regularly interrupted. Yes, Patreons assemble!
Joe Biden opposed the mission to take out Osama bin Laden.
No, he didn't. He opposed the timing of it. He wanted another day so they could have an unmanned aerial vehicle do a drive-by, flyby, so that they could make sure that he was there, because we weren't going to do a straight bombing run and knock it out from the sky, like clear and present danger. But our soldiers were going to fly in 2 helicopters, get out, go into a building that we can't see into, and he wanted to make sure that we didn't lose some soldiers trying to get Osama bin Laden. He wanted to make sure he was there. But he left the decision to the president and said Obama had a backbone like a ramrod because he made a very strong decision around that. I posted that on my Twitter in case there's any butt biters out there who don't believe me. But the story has been consistent forever. And the only thing Biden said was, we have 24 hours, let's do another UAV, have a drone fly by to make sure, because we don't want to lose any soldiers. We still almost lost we lost one helicopter, and the soldiers were in danger. If that had happened, ability to actually go after him again.
He opposed killing Soleimani. He voted for the Iraq war. He backed the disastrous Iran nuclear deal. And
they don't have a nuke.
Cheered for the rise of China.
And thank you so much. Look at that. We have a limited time to earn exclusive emotes. What is that? Oh, we got a hype train going. We level 2, right on. Bits and subs and stuff like that. Oh, look at that. Boing. Thanks, guys.
For our country, I don't think so. That was a disaster. Now Biden's put forward the most dangerous and extreme platform of any major party nominee in history. The bad news is he doesn't even know what the hell it is. The Biden plan would
That's the bad news? I know what it is. Ask me.
Destroy.
He's actually pretty up on all of his policy positions because he was debate prepping all day.
Social Security and destroy protections for pre-existing conditions. It will drain your Medicare by giving free health care to illegal immigrants that will come over to this country by the millions when they see this. End virtually all immigration enforcement and impose...
Oh my God, it's the same shit.
...and restore patriotic education to our schools. We're already there.
Yes, Kim Jong-un style education coming to a school near you.
With your help, your devotion, your drive, we are going to keep...
Look at this sweaty get out the vote. Look at this. Your dedication, your drive. He needs these people to if they're not going to knock doors and make phone calls, stand outside of polling places and try to scare people away.
Keep on working. We are going to keep on fighting.
And we are winning.
Going to keep on winning.
Whining.
We are one movement, one people,
one cult,
family, and
one sweaty mess.
Glorious nation under God. And together with the incredible people of Florida.
Wait, America isn't one party. And there's not one party under God.
We will make America wealthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America
sweat again.
Safe again. And we will make America
poop again.
Thank you, Florida. Thank you, Florida.
Good grief. And that, honestly, this is embarrassing. Clap, hand job. Point, clap. Oh, God. Clap. Yeah, totally. You know, this is clearly a man of high energy and excitement. Dance for him. Come on, dance. Show him you got, there you go. Show him you got energy. It's not good. Don't do that. Don't do the dancing. Now, the people in the front row think it's cute. Everybody else there is like, what's wrong with him? This is so weird. Thank you, guys. Yes, be well. I'm going to go back to work. So have a great night. I adore you all. Thanks for jumping in here with me. I missed you yesterday. I genuinely did. It's always, whoops, hold on. Come back to me. Where are you going? Wait, there you go. All right. Second. There we go. Sorry. His posture? Yeah, no, he has lifts. He wears lifts. And some people think it's prefrontal, like the damage to his prefrontal cortex, but I don't know quite the status of that, but he definitely wears lifts in his shoes, that's for sure. You can see him in pictures. And then, yeah. Do McEnemy? Yeah, we'll do that at some point. It's a good idea. Somebody's yelling, Jesus loves you at him. Jesus loves you. Jesus loves you. Jesus loves you. Woo. 2. Hey, there she's pretty. She looks like Ivanka. Stand by here. Hey, what's going on? You see it? Look at. Nope, she didn't point it at her. Just walking by everybody else. Okay, yeah. Cheers. Clap. Hand job, hand job. Thanks very much. Clap, clap. He's doing this weird swallowing thing. The last couple of them. Like these big, deep. Gross. If I was his doctor, I would be concerned. Hand job, hand job. Clap, clap, clap. Point, clap, hand job. You. Clap, clap, clap. And as soon as he goes down, okay, guys, that's us. My signal. And we're out. Big gentle. Oh, well, thank you for the big gentle hugs. I called her first lady because I can't remember her name. Yeah, that was so weird. Thanks, Abby. I think you're talking to me. I don't know. Dr. Atlas. Oh my God. Scott Atlas. Captain Bullshit. Yes, tomorrow is my 21st. So happy I've actually been able to catch this live. I've been watching after the fact for 2 months. Much more. Oh, thanks, Bethy B. Sorry. Thanks. I will. Go check your voter registration you haven't in a while. Yes, absolutely. Go to vote.org, everybody. Oh, you guys weren't watching what I was watching. That's really awkward. All right, I'm signing off. I got to go do some work. You guys are awesome. Have a great night. Peace and be wild. Take care of yourself. I'm going to eat some food and upload some files.
Just follow the money.
You can climb right over their face.
Well, it's a well-known fact, Sonny Jim, that there's a secret society of and meet triannually at a secret country mansion in Colorado known as the Meadows. So who's in this penthouse? The Vatican, the Gettys, the Rothschilds, and Colonel Sanders before he went tits up.
You can't fight in here. This is the war room.
Listen, buddy, don't start off with your white zone shit again.
Did you have shade?
I was thinking of the immortal words of Socrates, who said,
I know he can get the job, but can he do the job?
Throw me a frickin' bone here. I'm the boss.
Groovy.
It's good to be the king.
Hail to the king, baby.
You lied to me.
Wah wah wee wah.
Dr. Evil.
Would you classify that as a launch problem or a design problem?
Nice. Not thrilling, but nice.
I'm dead sexy.